Netflix is the world's leading streaming service that we all know and some even love. And while there's no denying that Netflix has a lot to offer, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And like all world-dominating corporations, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that they don't want you to think about. And they don't always have your best interests in mind. Want a dose of some bitter truths? Then you want to watch this video until the end. Here's the first thing you should know. You are being monitored. We all know tech giants have this habit of not really understanding boundaries, and it's 2023. At this point, every app on our phones is a potential tech spy, but the Netflix algorithm takes things to a whole interesting level. It's almost as if they created their own personal manipulative Skynet. In 2020 alone, Netflix gained over 37 million new subscribers, of which as much as 80% came from outside the United States. This success is the handiwork of one thing alone: their one-of-a-kind recommendation engine whose job is to monitor every single thing you click, look at, and interact with. What did you watch, and how long did you watch it? Where did you skip, and where did you rewind to see it again? When it's done picking the brain of its wonderful human user, it then places the kind of content it knows you can't refuse. Officially, Netflix says that it suggests new and interesting content to its users. But while snack companies hook you with a crazy sugar rush or cocaine dealers hold you down with a crazy high, Netflix's algorithm is focused on making you addicted to the platform while holding your attention hostage. Netflix currently offers thousands of movies and shows, which can be overwhelming for some users, which could also lead to them leaving because they couldn't quite decide what to watch. Netflix decided to make things easier by handing users over to something that would make all the decisions for them. And though this all sounds unethical, let's not make things weird. Let's just call them suggestions. And that's where things do start getting weird. Netflix doesn't actually care about what you think. If you've got thoughts and reviews, keep them to yourself. If you were a user back in 2018, you would remember the written reviews feature, which allowed you to air your views to other users in case the recommendation algorithm messed up again and showed you less than ideal original Netflix content. It seems that users sharing reviews with users was problematic for Netflix because that feature was scrapped, along with any negative reviews on Netflix's content. So I guess it's back to depending entirely on the algorithm. And honestly, it would have been less of a depressing dystopian situation if the algorithm wasn't trying to eat itself up. Saying that Netflix's algorithm is eating itself is a pretty weird statement, and if you think about it, it's pretty grotesque. But this is a sentiment shared by those who've chosen to pay attention to the unbreakable loop that it's trapped in, and it's dragging the whole of Netflix down with it. Netflix is a large data-centric company that produces movies. Data was so important to them in 2006 that Netflix held a competition to make its algorithm more precise and accurate when stalking its users. Pretty soon, its recommendation algorithm got so good, it became the very best in the industry. And it also fell into a major trap called the feedback loop. For example, if a genre was recommended to a user and they loved it so much, naturally it would be recommended to others. After a lot of positive feedback, it would become the focus of the next Netflix movie. If the data says the genre's gold, then it's gold. That doesn't sound too bad, right? Well, there are two major problems here. One, Netflix is a capitalist company looking to make a profit. And two, what happens if the Netflix algorithm isn't getting enough data? Does that mean Netflix would license a movie like Collision or Man on Fire or Ice Road because an algorithm told them to do so? Does the algorithm decide the movie, or does the movie inform the algorithm? Where's the place of microgenres and creativity in this mix? So the algorithm bias kicks in. This is why, unsurprisingly, Netflix's daily advertised top movies and shows have the distinctive N in the top corner of the thumbnail. Therefore, if the only movies the Netflix algorithm licenses are B-action movies for dads, then the only Netflix original movies would be B-action movies for dads, which the algorithm would license and which Netflix would then produce. Sounds to me like the algorithm is really eating its own tail there. But that's not the only problem with the algorithm's bias. What happens when a beautiful, deep, thought-provoking movie doesn't have enough publicity to catch the algorithm's notice? In the past, we recommended movies that spoke to us, understood our struggles, and were works of art. This is something a computer program would never understand. This is why the algorithm would advertise ambient background noise like Emily in Paris over Chung Mong-hong's A Sun. This means that good movies become inaccessible, and trending movies become the order of the day, no matter how trashy they are. And Netflix would go on to produce more B-rated movies because the algorithm said so. It's not just that the algorithm is bad, it's fundamentally broken. It keeps spitting out paste because all Netflix is stuffing in it is glue. So how does this glue stuffing affect you, my beloved user? 2 words.
Binge watching itself is not bad, but it's what it does to our brains and our bodies that's the concern that we're having.
Addiction and programming. Ever heard that song for the first time that you didn't like, but then every radio station played it over and over again until the song somehow grew on you? Well, that doesn't just happen with awful songs. It can also work on awful movies too. With the right amount of effort and the right mega, world-dominating company bankrolling the whole operation, they can get you hooked so that they can get your wallet. But they don't stop to think about the mental health issues trailing behind their super algorithm. Netflix's manipulative recommendation algorithm can keep hundreds of millions of people happy for a moment, but afterwards, it plunges them into perpetual depression. Since binge watching is so normal in our modern-day society, it gets increasingly difficult to understand the imperative effects on millions of people. Yet, to understand these long-term negative effects, we have to know how the algorithm works, right? Well, here's the thing though. Netflix's recommendation algorithm is a secret. The set of codes is guarded so strongly that mental health experts can't actually study it. Yeah, that's not suspicious at all. Still, even if they can't study the algorithm itself, the use case and massive success put it in a place where they can diagnose certain things. Here are some things that they found. For starters, it takes a user roughly 30 seconds to a minute to decide whether or not to use, so the algorithm is focused on retention. And, since around 80% of the platform's success is linked to the algorithm, it's fair to say that the main focus is to continue feeding the user with new pieces of specific content. So, they analysed the long-term effects of their findings, and things aren't looking good. Research conducted at the University of Gujarat, Pakistan, investigated the effects of binge-watching practices on a group of diverse users. They gathered over 1,000 people of different ages, genders, educational qualifications, and marital statuses, with over 35% watching for 7 hours or more. The research provided evidence correlating the time spent binge-watching shows with depression, anxiety, loneliness, and warped sleep patterns. Question: how many hours did you spend with your partner or your children today? How many hours did you spend binging House of Cards? Well, Netflix's need to make money is eating up the minds of its users, and the success of their algorithm spells doom for humanity. Thanks for watching, and be sure to let us know your thoughts on Netflix in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.